Well, hey there, and welcome to Meaningful Moments with May, and I am your host, May Caleb. I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey of exploration and growth. In each episode, we're going to dive into the ways we can harmonize our lives with our environment, nurturing our creativity, and aligning with our true nature. So together we'll uncover powerful insights, share transformative stories, and discover practical tools to enhance our everyday experiences. So whether you're seeking inspiration, personal development, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place, my friends. So grab a cozy seat, open your hearts and minds, and let's embark on this meaningful adventure together. So to start off with, what if I told you that the key to manifesting your dreams isn't magic, but has everything to do with the way you see yourself? In today's episode, I'm going to discuss with you and share concepts about self-awareness and the role it plays in manifesting and co-creating. And I want to start off with a powerful idea. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are conscious of being. You manifest what you're in alignment with. So let that sit with you for a moment. This means that self-awareness is not just a tool for reflection, it's the foundation of your reality. Manifestation isn't about forcing external outcomes, it's about recognizing and aligning with the internal identity you hold most deeply. If you're not aware of what your subconscious beliefs are, like your emotional patterns or self-concepts that you're possibly living through, then you're likely manifesting from them. If you're not aware of what your beliefs are about yourself deep down inside, just look around. You're out of alignment. You want this, but you feel like you're over here somewhere. So just look around. You may want abundance, which comes in many forms, but still you're unaware that you may see yourself as undeserving or lacking. Your manifestations will reflect that internal state. So that's why it's a really good idea to spend some time with yourselves and just really become aware of who you are at your core. What are your core beliefs? Self-awareness allows you to excavate these internal truths, question them, and reshape your self-image. And that becomes the new vibration from which your reality takes shape. You see, like energy attracts like energy, and it does so everywhere. We're all molecules and atoms, right? And all we have to do is get into alignment first here in the mind, in our awareness of who we are, what we believe about ourselves, and start shifting our energetic footprint to get into alignment with the energetic footprint of the thing that you're looking to co-create or manifest. I use those words interchangeably. So let's get an understanding of what self-awareness is. Wikipedia describes self-awareness as the ability to recognize emotions, strengths, weaknesses, beliefs, and values. So in essence, manifestation begins the moment you become radically honest about who you are being and how you're showing up, not just about what you're asking for. And here's why. Self-awareness matters in manifesting because knowing your true values helps to set intentions that resonate deeply within you, clarifying your intentions. So if you've ever felt like you were wandering through life, being blown around whichever way the wind's taking you, then you may need to sit with your core values. Because what do you value the most? These are really important questions. What are your principles? What are your intentions? If you're not in alignment with your core values, so I'm going to give an example of this. Say you have a lot of discontent in the area. I'm going to use the area of health because I know a lot of people right now that are struggling with the area of health. Say you have a lot of discontentment in the area of health and you're like, oh, I need to lose a few pounds. How many of you done this? I know I have. And then I go have some ice cream or I eat something with bread or pizza, which is my favorite. Honestly, that's my favorite dinner, pizza and a glass of wine. And we know that's not good for the weight, right? So we're not in congruence with what it is that we want to create. We say, oh, I want to lose a few pounds. And I'm fully aware of it. But some people, I'm just trying to use this as an example. Some people are not aware of how self-awareness helps to identify your subconscious narratives and challenge the beliefs that you have, right? So I say I want to lose weight, and then I go have some pizza and wine. While it might be good for my social interacting with my girlfriends or something, or because I really enjoy doing it, it's not necessarily going to get me to the goal, to the end game, right? So if my intention, if I'm in alignment, if I truly believe that I want to lose weight and I'm not in alignment with that, I'm going to go have wine and pizza. But if I'm in alignment with that, I'm going to eat something more healthy and more nourishing for my body. Do you see where I'm going with that? Just kind of recognizing what you value the most at this in that given moment, and your intentions, like this whole realm of co-creating. Your dreams can change in a flash. You could start off and embark on one dream and end up somewhere completely down the road. You see, self-awareness helps you identify subconscious narratives and challenging beliefs that are holding you back. In my book, The Light That Shines Through the Fields of Fear, I share a story of how I held on to some pretty unreasonable fears. And when I took the time to explore those fears, I learned that many of those fears that I was holding on to were not even my own. Fears that, maybe were handed down from generation to generation. One particular fear I held on to was not mine, it was my husband's, who at the time wasn't my husband yet. So if you're curious about that book, you can order a copy of it from my website at www.maycaleb.com, or I think it's still on Amazon. You can go to Amazon as well. So understanding your emotions is also key to aligning with the energetic states that will help you produce and manifest your outcomes. Self-awareness brings clarity to you about what your true desires are. And it helps you to energetically, like I said previously, get into alignment with what you genuinely want to manifest and create for yourself. And like I said, you might start down the road embarking on one journey, and as you go, and as you keep stepping into and removing limiting beliefs and paradigms, and you start following this path, you could find 10 forks in the road, and it would be like opportunity is your oyster. Here's the mechanics of how self-awareness powers manifesting. First, self-awareness allows you to identify subconscious narratives that are holding you back and replacing them with empowering beliefs. So if you think I'm not good enough, then you can shift that unempowering belief with one that says, I am worthy, I am good enough, I am deserving, whatever words you like to use that you can relate to. Second, mastering your emotional intelligence, which is challenging for a lot of people. And the emotional intelligence, for those of you who are not aware, are the knee-jerk reactors, people who get angry when someone cuts them off in traffic. And generally, we get upset because we're trying to control something outside of our ability to control. So when you master your emotional intelligence, it promotes nervous system regulation and aligns with the positive emotional states, which are critical for creation, co-creating, and manifesting. Third, mindful awareness. Mindful awareness enhances visualization. It keeps negativity in check and pushes it away and helps you focus your mental energy on your intentions, manifesting and creating more of what you desire in life and less of what you don't desire. It's not easy, or everybody would be doing it. I just want to give you that forewarning and caveat. And fourth, repetitious manifestation practices, writing intentions, visualizing, reading them out loud. Visualization engages the introspective brain network, which helps to encode goals and enhances focus through neuroplasticity. And finally, the repetitive manifestation efforts that rewire the brain pathways through neuroplasticity also prime you to notice opportunities, which is what I was just saying a few minutes ago about you're setting off down the road and all of a sudden you find yourself at the gates of 10 different opportune doors. And these opportunities, when you recognize them, that's taking place through the reticular activating system, which is a network of neurons located in the brainstem that plays a crucial role in regulating alertness, so that you're paying attention to what you're paying attention to and you recognize the opportunity when it's there, right? Attention and sleep-wake cycles. I go into this much deeper in another podcast about ancestral brainstorm interference, which you don't want to miss, but there's more on that to come later. So it acts as a filter. It regulates, wakefulness and sleep-awake transitions and arousing the brain to process important information from the overwhelming sensory input we receive. We take in millions of data into our minds every day. It works by selectively bringing relevant stimuli to your conscious attention, influencing what you notice and what you ignore. So this system plays a crucial role in selective attention awareness and the ability to focus on tasks or goals, helping to automate familiar behaviors and allow the brain to focus on new challenges. So here are some practical tools and practices to use in your quest to create greater self-awareness for manifesting. So for emotional awareness techniques, as my mentor Mary Morrissey likes to say, you start by paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Sometimes we have subconscious thought processes that we're not even aware of, and it's not until you start peeling back the onion layers that you get to recognize where you're, I'm going to say, falling short in the emotional awareness. So if you don't know all of the emotions that you hold, if you don't know how you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself, then it would be a good idea to try to get in tune and in touch with that. So if you pay attention to what you're paying attention to, you learn to recognize mismatches between your feelings and your goals. Getting upset about a car cutting me off that I have no control over is not going to get me one step closer to the life that I am creating for myself, and nor is it going to get you there unless that's, of course, part of your goal is to, be in a fight with somebody on the road. I'm just using that as a simple example, but one that I think we can all understand because we've all been there. You learn to practice emotional pivots. I used to get upset. I used to have road rage. I admit it. But my emotional pivot now is somebody cuts me off, I just say, love you, sending you lots of love. You must be in a hurry. You can't really understand what somebody's going through when they're going through it. You don't know what is happening in their world and why they're driving the way they're driving or what's going on. So rather than me get all in a tussy because somebody just cut me off or honked at me or whatever, I just say, I'm sending you light and love. I'm sending you off. I hope you make it to wherever it is you're going on time. So when you learn to practice these emotional pivots, it shifts you towards a higher frequency of emotions like gratitude. Like you can use gratitude or contentment. See, I don't get all upset anymore, so I have complete contentment. I don't care if you honk at me. I don't care if you speed past by me. I don't care if you flip me the bird. Some of you may have heard in episode 1, the perceptions and the power of stepping back. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make in a situation is to just step back. If you find yourself having some emotional intelligence reactions, like pulling yourself away from the emotions and allowing yourself the space and the grace to think from a clearer mind until you learn the concept of when it's the right time to react and when it's not. When your kid's running out into the middle of the street, that's the time to react. That's the time to grab an arm. That's the time to maybe go, you could get hurt, that kind of thing. But screaming at somebody for cutting you off, no, that's not. I'm so far removed from that now, and that was so many years ago. But it took me time to learn it, and it's a process of learning how to pay attention to what you're paying attention to. But it's valuable. It's invaluable. You'll start to recognize, oh, here's my participation in it, whatever it is. Journaling is a great way to track your thought patterns. It's also a great way to track your emotions and recurring themes to uncover your inner narratives. So reflecting on your writing to clarify your desires and scripting ideas into the present tense enables you the opportunity to emotionally embody your future. So I like to say sensorize it, which I do get into. I'm doing a whole 6-part series, I think it's 6-part series on breaking limiting beliefs, which comes up after this particular podcast. So you won't want to miss that. So honest reflection and seeking trusted feedback helps to illuminate what you're not seeing, like where you may energetically be out of alignment with your intentions and your behaviors. I could sit here for hours and talk about this just from my own personal experiences, but we're all on a time constraint, so I won't be doing that at this moment. Self-compassion. I've said this a million times over the years, probably because I was one of the biggest abusers of self-compassion, where I used to beat myself up all the time. Sometimes it's easier said than done. I understand that, especially if you've developed behavior patterns where self-criticism is your automatic go-to, because maybe you were criticized a lot as a child and this is the pattern that you picked up because maybe it kept you out of trouble. I mean, there's things go deep, and I'm taking this is kind of a surface level stuff, and as time goes on I'll get deeper and deeper with you. But we just do our best to practice being compassionate towards ourselves. We're kind to ourselves. We treat ourselves the way we would treat our best friend, without judgment. Self-reflection strengthens your awareness, and no criticism. Don't criticize yourself. I don't know, if you're into criticizing your friends, I wouldn't want to be your friend. I treat my friends with love and kindness, and I hold space for them when they need someone to hold space. And I started learning to do that for myself. I catch it that quick now. That was me snapping my fingers because you can't see the video. I catch my self-criticism, my self-loathing, my self-doubt, all of this negative self-talk. I catch it in an instant now because I've been doing this for a while, and I am amazed at the way that my life has shifted and changed. So if you align your self-talk with your self-awareness using positive present tense statements and affirmations to reshape your internal narrative, you'd be surprised how far that would go. And your mindfulness habits, like activities like mindful walking or daily journaling. I think it's funny because I love this one. My husband and I will go for a walk in the morning, and generally I'm on a pilgrimage. Like, I try to take the first 25 steps of my walk with every step I put down, and sometimes he looks at me kind of funny, but I'm giving thanks. I'm so grateful I woke up this morning. I'm so grateful to be alive, because not everybody got up, right? I'm just sharing these things so that when I say mindful walking, I'm just trying to give you an idea. Or maybe you have a pressing situation, or just an opportunity. I don't like to say situation or a circumstance, a condition. Maybe there's something more pressing for you, and it's really weighing heavy on your mind. So as you're doing your mindful walking, rather than, what is the word I'm looking for? Rather than thinking of that thing in its conditioned form, maybe while you're walking, you should ask the question, what one thing could I do? Or what am I to learn from this experience? Or what is the good that can come out of this? And just allow your mind to be free. Again, not easy, easier said than done. So as you're taking your mindful walking or daily journaling, you can integrate self-awareness into your daily life. This will reinforce and realign your energy with your intentions. In the morning when I get up and I go on my mindfulness walk, and I have 25 different things to be grateful, and I try to make them different every day, although I do lead off with the fact that I'm grateful that I'm alive, and that I woke up, and that I'm breathing, and that I'm healthy. I do start my walks with that. I start my yoga with that. Anything that I do in the morning, prayer, meditation, I start with that, because I am really grateful, because I've had a lot of people around me go home, if you know what I mean. And one of them was my brother, who didn't have any family around or anything. So he was gone in an instant, and I will never, ever take my life for granted. So as we begin to wind down, I want to share a few quick thoughts with you. Self-awareness sharpens clarity. It counters limiting beliefs. It aligns emotions with intentions and rewires your internal narrative to support authentic manifestation and clarifying your intentions, recognizing and transforming inner abundance blocks, and aligning your thoughts and emotions with actions towards what you desire. And that's where the real transformation begins. And you can begin to live more authentically and in tune with your place in the world. So as you move forward this week, I encourage you to pair a short daily mindfulness check-in. Either go on a mindfulness walk or do some yoga if you're used to practicing yoga. Dance if you feel like dancing. Just do a check-in with a specific affirmation or intention. Maybe you can journal an internal, how internal shifts come to you. What do you notice when you're doing your mindfulness check-in? You can also use a small journaling practice when you recognize a limiting belief. Reframe it with a simple affirmation. For example, if you've ever felt like you're not enough and you recognize that in your journaling process, simply rephrase the sentence to say, I am enough, or I've got this. You get the idea. When you become aware, you become intentional. When you become intentional, you become strong and powerful. You become a strong and powerful manifesting co-creator. That's what I like to say. That's one of my positive affirmations. I am a strong, confident, powerful, manifesting co-creator. That is one of my affirmations that I repeat to myself over and over again. So thank you for spending your time with me here today. I know that you have many choices of where you spend your time, and I am so happy and grateful that you decided to spend it with me. If today's episode gave you something to think about, feel free to share it with someone you care about. And be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast so you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and remember, manifesting begins the moment you become radically honest about who you're being, how you're showing up, and not just about what you're asking for. Bye everyone for now.